Well, we're going to see exactly how that track is starting to shape up right now as we take a look at this racetrack at Gatorback. And we do this courtesy of Matt White, the number 32 Yamaha pilot. He's wearing the helmet cam for us as we drop the gate into the first turn. A nice, long, wide first turn. ITP hole shot award going to be given out on that one, of course. And as you can see, everyone seems to like the inside line there. As we head down the long straight, at the end of this long straight, we'll come into a chicane, and from here we'll drop off into Gator Falls, down the Gator Falls, and this is into the Gator Pit. This is an old sand quarry, and then as we make our way up out of the sand quarry itself, over the tip of the Gator's nose here at Gatorback, over the Gator's brow, that tabletop section, a little bit of a turn here. This is what would be considered the neck of the Gator, onto the Gator's back now. As you can see, we go straight across the top side of this hill, and we sweep around the Parts Unlimited Moose Racing sweeper turn here, a big long sweeper, and this is what they call the Gator's Tail here at Gatorback Race Park. As we head on up this way a little ways, the tail will actually go into the haunches of the Gator itself, and then we drop into a more technical section, kind of supercrossy, if you will, and it's a rather interesting layout to a racetrack here. It's been here for a long, long time. Gatorback Cycle Park, as we head to Pro-Am Unlimited Racing action. Moto number 1, Josh Upperman, the number 20, getting the early lead on the Motosport Honda. This kid is going to be tough to beat. He's shown great speed in California, great speed in Texas, and he opens up here in Florida with another phenomenal start, and he looks like he is going to be the man to beat in Division 1 of our Pro-Am Unlimited. As we look at this particular section of the racetrack, this is kind of a hairpin turn. It comes down into the Gator Pit and back up near the top of the Gator's head, of course, here at Gatorback Cycle Park. And look how hard packed this turn is. This is getting what they call the blue groove. It almost looks like a dirt track surface there. You don't expect this in Florida. You're really expecting to see a lot of sand, but non-traditional for Florida racing, a lot of clay here, and we'll see that this could be a big variable in this weekend's racing, especially as rough as this racetrack appears to get as the weekend progresses. Pro-Am Unlimited Moto number 1, 2 different divisions out there on the racetrack. Division leader number 1 is the number 20 of Josh Upperman out of Louisville, Ohio, and he's got company back there. Looks like Clay Holmes knocking on the door. Right behind him, the 727 of Cale Downer from Junction, Illinois. He's putting the pressure on Holmes, and behind Holmes, I believe that's Pelshaw, Richard Pelshaw from Canada in this Pro-Am Unlimited race. And we've got a three-way battle right now for the number 2 position in Division number 1. Division number 2 has the number 17 of Rodney Gentry out front in it. It looks like he's got company as well from some really stiff competition. It's the 122 of Dustin Royal. He's also from Louisville, Ohio, as Upperman is. And the 3rd place position holder in Division number 2 early on here in Moto number 1, the 101 of Rocco Arna, who's not only racing Pro-Am Unlimited this weekend, he is as well a new rookie pro here in this 2006 season. Looks like he's suffering some problems here in this first moto. He's out of Dawson Springs, Kentucky. He's going to ride to a 14th place finish, and that's not going to be enough to get him into a second moto for racing. But the action heating up out here at this Pro-Am Unlimited Moto number 1. Again, Gentry up front of Division 2. Look at the battle between Cale Down and the 727 and Clay Holmes as they are going at it for that second place position. And Rodney Gentry will take the win in Division number 2. When the smoke all cleared, it was Josh Upperman taking the overall with a 1-1, Cale Downer with a 3-2, and Clay Holmes rounding out the top 3 with a 2-4. Next up, Pro Qualifier number 1 of 2 here at Gatorback. As the top 10 are seated, the remaining 10 riders that try their luck in Moto number 1 and Moto number 2 must qualify on Saturdays. And this is the first of 2. We take 4, 4, and 2. So the top 4 have to qualify here. And the number 4 of Tim Farr is going to grab the early lead on this very rough Gatorback racetrack. Look how rough that first turn is beginning to be. The dust is kicking up, and Farr still holding on to the number 1 spot as things kick off here.
Just kind of had some bad luck, and I haven't been the healthiest this season, so I'm out here in the qualifier. I'm going to give it my best shot and see how I do. Definitely not 100%, but I still want to ride.
I'm glad to see Tim Farr still wanting to ride out there. He's got company, though. The number 191 of Dustin Wimmer, who started off the season fairly strong out in California, starts off here in this qualifier number 1 in very strong contention as well, back in the number 2 spot. Tim Farr going to try his best to keep him at bay. Now, Tim Farr might have an advantage on this track in some respects due to the fact that he's got the dirt tracking experience and the championship under his belt. But at the same time, as he said, he's not 100%, so it's going to be tough to hold on to the lead. But Wimmer is going to try to put the pressure on. And right behind them, Jeremy Lawson, aboard that number 16. He's sneaking up to try to make a part of the battle for that number 1 spot. Pat Brown back in 4th place aboard that number 199 machine. Little chicane, there's a drop down Gator Falls, a very challenging race course here at Gatorback. There's the battle for first, a 3-way run, as you can see, at nearly 4, as Brown is now starting to close the gap up just a little bit. There's the 411 of Donald Leisinger making his way into the picture. Looks like Leisinger may be running a top 5, but that's not going to be enough, as the 4th place position is the final spot they're going to be taking in these qualifiers today, because there are 2 qualifiers. So we go 4 and 4, and that makes 8. And the LCQ, they'll take 2 out of that, and that'll make the top 10. Change in our leaders as the number 191 of Dustin Wimmer gets around. Tim Farr, the number 4. Jeremy Lawson still holding on to the 3rd place position here in qualifier number 1. Again, it doesn't matter how you finish here. You just want to be in the top 4. And right now, I think Pat Brown is probably looking at that and thinking he is glad to be right where he is right now. Leisinger back there in the number 5 spot. He's got ground to make up if he wants to head into moto number 2. A 3-way battle for the number 1 spot. You got to wonder how much pressure is going to be applied here. A seasoned veteran, the number 4, Tim Farr, knows that he does not need to win this when they get into the moto. All he's got to do is stay in the top 4. Dustin Wimmer, on the other hand, not the seasoned veteran. He's out trying to make as much of an impression as he can and turn as many heads as he can here in this 2006 racing season, because he is looking for sponsorships as his career is just now getting underway. Tim Farr still back in the number 2 spot. Lawson dropping off just a little bit, but he keeps both these riders very close at bay and very close in sight from that number 3 position. It's the number 199 of Pat Brown, who seems to be fading back just a little bit, but Brown at last check had a fairly comfortable lead in the number 4 spot, so there's not really much of a necessity for him to really be pushing himself here in this qualifier. Just get the 4th place position, take that, draw your spoon for your gate pick in moto number 1 coming up on Sunday. But look at this battle for second. Looks like Lawson trying to make a name for himself as he is closed in on the rear wheels of the number 4 of Tim Farr, and he tries to get around, not able to do so just yet. Wimmer not escaping too far out ahead of him aboard the 191, still keeping up close, but Wimmer knows he's feeling comfortable, and he knows that there's a battle behind him, so that is going to give him an opportunity to relax. Currently in 4th place, Pat Brown, holding steady there. Again, not much of a reason for him to push himself, as no one is pushing him just yet, and not much of a reason for him to try to catch the top 3, as it's not going to matter. Top 4 here, top 4 in Division 2. We'll see that one coming up here in just a few moments. Battle for second place is heating up. Here comes Lawson, the number 16. His final lap of racing. Wimmer's heading into this one. He's looking for checkers next time by. Through that whoop field one last time. Here comes Farr. Here comes Lawson. The battle for second place position. Let's see if Lawson's going to be able to make the... Whoa, Lawson getting a little bit out of shape right there. Let's take a look at what probably threw his second place race away here in this qualifier. He gets going. You see the big ruts there, the big holes. All he does is basically clip the outside of one of those big holes. It kind of kicks the back end around. It takes him, it takes the drive out of that those rear wheels and slows his momentum down. Doesn't slow it down enough for Pat Brown to close the gap too much. But again, Brown's just happy to be right where he's at in a qualifying position. He's not going to push it. He's going to finish so he can come back to race for the money and the points coming up in Sunday's racing action. Dustin Wimmer, the number 191, turning heads here in the 06 ITP Moose Racing ATV National Motocross Series. Tim Farr doing a great job coming off of that back surgery and still able to fend off the young gun of Jeremy Lawson as they make their way around for the checkers on this final lap. And it's still a battle, still a few turns to go. Here's the hairpin turn. And Wimmer is through. A big gap opened up there, and Dustin Wimmer will take the checker flag back in second. I believe it is going to still be far, and Lawson back in the number 3 spot.
Pretty good. It's real hard packed. Turns got a lot of jagged edges on them. Just got to watch out and take the smoothest line and do good.
On to pro qualifier number 2. Again, the top 4 will transfer here, and the remainder will go and try to whittle it down from the top 2 from that. But the best thing to do is get as good a start as you can right here, as we can see these riders going at it. Harold Goodman, the number 708, grabbing the home shot there as he gets the traction into turn number 1. He's got company, though. Looks like it might be the number 19 of Dunkelberger, the number 2 of Jeremiah Jones, who's racing a pro qualifier on a Saturday. Strange, but true, but Jeremiah has had bike problems out of that new 450 Suzuki through the first 2 rounds of racing. It doesn't appear to be anything with the machine itself, just weird things taking place out there and causing him not to be able to finish the motos, and it's put him out here in the Saturday pro qualifying. It might be good for him to get a little bit of extra track time out there. He is back in about the 4th or 5th place position. Meanwhile, Josh Kramer in the number 2 spot as he is trying to apply the pressure to Harold Goodman now. And behind Goodman, he has got company out of the Yamaha rider. I think that is Pel Shaw aboard the number 46 machine. Around the turns and in front of the spectators, right in front of the announcer's tower. If you're familiar with Gatorback, as they get set to drop down into the Gator pit one more time, down there they go as they head into their hairpin turn. It is a tough one for those riders. It's Kramer still in the number 2 spot. Look at this, Jeremiah Jones still trying to work his way up through the pack, back in the number 5 position. Harold Goodman, 708 in the lead. Kramer running in the number 2 spot. Shaw in 3rd. Jeremiah Jones charging hard from 5th place, trying to make the pass into that 4th and final transfer spot. But Rocco Arno, the number 101 rookie pro, fighting the hardest he's probably had to fight just to get into a pro race with the former champion of Jeremiah Jones knocking on the door from that brand new Suzuki. But Rocco Arno putting up a heck of a fight. Speaking of heck of a fight, look at the one up front. It's Goodman is feeling the pressure from Kramer, the number 270, doing the look-see over his shoulder there to see how tight the competition is. There's Mel Shaw. There is Jeremiah Jones now into that 4th and final transfer spot. So it's Harold Goodman, the number 708, the 270. And now look into the 3rd place position, number 2 of Jeremiah Jones. Jones is on his way to the front of the pack. Again, nothing to prove here, but other than the fact that you can ride, that's maybe proving something to yourself. And it looks like Jeremiah Jones is trying to do just that now as he is up into a 3rd place position. He's got the qualifying position. That's all he needs. But right now, I think is a confidence boost. Even Jeremiah Jones would like to see him be able to pass a couple of riders out here and maybe even take the win and rock himself way up as far as confidence heading into that first moto on Sunday morning. Right now, though, he has got a couple of tough nuts to crack ahead of him. Behind him, a couple of riders that are struggling. Look like the number 32 of Matt White has got his work cut out for him, running in an 8th place position. That's not going to be good enough here in Division 2. Up to 2nd place now, Jeremiah Jones gets around the number 270 of Josh Kramer and the number 708 of Harold Goodman, feeling the pressure as these riders grew up together through the amateur ranks, and now Goodman and Jones are battling it out in the pro ranks. Goodman, has been doing a lot better in the dirt track racing than what he has in the motocross racing, is doing great here today, it looks like, in fending off that factory pilot who is right behind him. The battle for the lead, Harold Goodman, Jeremiah Jones. Again, Jones does not have to win, but it would be a good boost of confidence as we head in to the last half of this race. Goodman and Jones, 1 and 2. Back behind him, they're still trying to get it sorted out. There's Kramer, and there is Matt White now up to a 5th place position. Matt White trying to get around Travis Spader now, who's moved into the 4th and final transfer spot aboard the number 30. So what battling we've got going on, and I think Spader probably has got the biggest fight on his hands as he has got to try to hold on to that position if he wants to move into the Moto 1 for tomorrow without having to go to the LCQ and try to finish top 2. Jeremiah Jones has taken over the lead now on the brand new Suzuki from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Goodman right behind him. Kramer in 3rd, still Spader in 4th, and Matt White rounding out the top 5. Again, it's the top 4 that transfer. But up front, all eyes are on the number 2 of Jeremiah Jones from the spectacular ride that he's able to put together here today in this qualifying action. Don't want to see him here, but if we do have to see him here, it's good to see him up front. I know that's what the boys at Suzuki are thinking right now as he jumps long and hard, almost into that whoop field there, while stretching his lead out over the 708 of Goodman. Now up the third, the number 30 is Spader, and back and forth. Kramer being challenged by Matt White on the outside, and Matt White is going to make the pass out of that first turn region to take the fourth and final transfer spot. Kramer's got his work cut out for him as his momentum is going backwards instead of forward, but don't count him out of the battle just yet. Matt White now up to a number 3 spot as he's gotten around Harold Goodman out of the race, so Spader moves up into second, and that will give the gimme to the number 270 of Josh Kramer here in the final laps of this pro qualifier, number 2 on this Saturday at Gatorback, round 3 of the ITP Moose Racing ATV National Motocross Series here from Gainesville, Florida. There we see the white flag out. Jeremiah Jones with 1 lap to go, and I know what he's thinking. Please stay together. Please nothing crazy happen and take me out of this race to make it 3 in a row. Spader now in second. Matt White up to third. As we said, Kramer gets the gimme in the 4th place. Rocco Arnold rounding out the top 5. That's not going to be enough. He's going to have to try to do it in an LCQ unless he can get around on this final lap of racing. A little off-camber action there for number 2 of Jeremiah Jones. He is on the throttle. It looks like he has got this racetrack dialed in. Travis Spader also looking like he's getting things dialed in. He might be someone to contend with on Sunday's racing, as well with Moto 1 and Moto 2, getting a little bit of extra track time out here. And he, too, is not too shabby of a dirt track racer. So with these kind of conditions out here, Spader could be one of the contenders for the checkers. Travis Spader, Matt White back in the number 3 spot. Josh Kramer in 4th. Jeremiah Jones coming around the top of the hill one last time. He's going to drop back down into the Gator pit for the last time in Saturday's pro qualifying action. And the rider from Bowling Green, Kentucky, finally able to get it put together. Jeremiah Jones will win qualifier number 2 here at Gatorback. Back in the number 2 spot goes to Spader, with the spoils once again to Jeremiah Jones.
I just dug deep and put my head up and just focused on just trying to pick those guys off one by one, and done a heck of a job. You know, couldn't ask anything better for my Yoshimura Suzuki.
Look at the Moose Racing results. Wimmer, Jeremiah Jones, Tim Farr, Travis Spader, Jeremy Lawson, Matt White, Pat Brown, Josh Kramer, Donald Leisinger, all making it into the main.